so many things we've learned. I realize, hey, there's a lot of information out there. There's people out there that have already done this. We don't try to reinvent the wheel. Listen to a podcast. Now of course we got to plug it. We're an Action Academy, so there's so many people in there that I can call and ask a question about, and they're there to help.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Gentle Art of Crushing It show, where we focus on learning and sharing with our listeners all there is to know about how to create success in our lives. This show stands on the shoulders of giants. Our mission is to empower and inspire our listeners to create the life of their dreams whilst having a blast in the process. Let's celebrate life together. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you all again for, checking in with another episode of The Gentle Art of Crushing It. Today, I have my friend Lucas Kelly. And Lucas, I'm so excited to get into your story here and learn more about you and see what makes that success mind of yours tick, right? And so with that being said, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and, please share something with us that most people wouldn't know.
Okay. Well, I'm Lucas Kelly, and like I said, thanks, Doug, for having me on here. I'm kind of nervous. I'm not great at communicating, doing podcasts. It's only my second one. I'm a electrical contractor. I own an electrical contractor business, and I own some real estate. Something kind of cool is I quit my W-2 when I was 26. And actually started. A lot of people call it side hustle. We call it side work, and I started that when I think I was 26 years old, and we started the business, just me and another my partner, and just two guys, two trucks working over our houses. So that was kind of cool. Didn't know anything, didn't know what I was doing. And really what I did is I got myself into another job. I went from working a bunch of hours for somebody else to working a bunch of hours for myself. So it was a great experience, and I'm still doing it. I've been blessed. So we've grown it, but I learned the hard way a lot of good lessons, and learned the hard way how to build a business, and did a lot of things wrong.
I bet you don't kick yourself for starting that, side work though, right?
I don't. It was a great experience. We were trying to move up at the company we were in, and there wasn't really any way to move up. And we both had young. We were young. We had a wife and young kids and a lot of bills, and we were workhorses. We just loved to work, and so we both just started doing work. And that kind of led to the business. And it was a great thing because it's great working for yourself. Even though we were working a bunch of hours, we weren't making much money. It was just a sense of freedom. We're doing this for myself. Today it's us. If we mess up, we're the ones that we have to deal with. It's not a boss getting on you anymore. Your freedom's up to you. Even if you don't have much freedom, your freedom's still up to you. And that's just it's a good place to be at.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, that's great. And so let me ask you this, do you mind sharing with us where and how you found success as you define it?
Well, I've, that's changed over my years. I'm a little smarter now. I've learned a lot of hard lessons. Early on, I was all about like proving myself. Like I couldn't move up my company, and my partner couldn't either. So we wanted to prove to them that they should have moved us up, that we can do this, and they messed up, and then when I proved to other people that we were better than just what they thought we were. And so it was a lot of pride. It was a lot of, money. We wanted to make money, and as I've got older and been more successful, I realized that that's not a good way to be. I mean, there's, the biggest things in the world is the things that's important in the world is your family, and your friends and your, experiences, helping other people. That's what's important. So that's successful to me now. Yes, I could. I've done good in my business, and I bought some real estate and done good in that. But I mean, that's nothing without friends and family. And I wish I could take some of them hours back and spend more quality time with my family at times, instead of putting hours in the business.
I agree with you, a million percent on that. I had sort of an epiphany a few years ago. I guess this is one that comes up for me every once in a while, which is if I have my family, my wife and my kids, and we're healthy, it doesn't get any better than that, right? I can't fail because I'm so blessed there. It's all just like we're swimming in the icing above, the cake, right? So, I really love that definition of success. And you touched on real estate a couple of times. Would you mind sharing me, or with us and with our audience, where how that looked like for you when you got started in investing in real estate, and where your portfolio has went from start to now, and then also the different sort of strategies you're implementing or asset classes that you invest in?
Well, at first, the reason we got in real estate is our accountant came to us and said, "Hey, y'all are renting. We need to. Y'all probably need to buy a building or build a building or something." So we bought a building in 2013, or excuse me, we built a building in 2013, and me and my business partner owned it through another LLC, through our personal LLC, and then rented it from our company, HK Electric. So that was kind of cool. Didn't know you could do that. I'm still learning about all this stuff, and soon after that my business partner came to me and he's like, "Hey man, I go to this beach every year down in Gulf Shores and same beach house, and a lady wants to sell it to us. You think we can? I think we can make the numbers work." And at first I was like, "Man, there ain't no way. I can't. We can't do that. We're not going to own a beach house." And he's like, "Let's look at the numbers." So we looked at the numbers. They look pretty good. And I said, "I think okay. Well, I think we can do that." And we made an offer, and we ended up not getting that one because the family got involved, but we ended up getting another one. And so here we go. We own a commercial building. We own a beach house. It's a rental property. We're only going there like once a year, but either way, long couple next year, my wife starts a business. She sells dance wear, and she's needing a place. She's renting from a place, started renting, and they're like, "Hey, let's buy a building for her." I said, "Hey, let's do it." So we bought her a commercial building. It had two spots to it, so we leased both sides, one to her business and then one to another business. So now we got three buildings, and anyway, long story short, then we started me and her started buying some rental properties. We got into the big. I wrote all this down so I keep up with it. Like in 18, we bought one, but in 21, we bought 18. So me and her really we were listening to Bigger Pockets. We had put some money in stocks over the years that I made with an electrical business. And I said, let's take this money on stocks and put it in real estate. And we kind of went crazy. And we'd got some good deals. We got some bad deals. Didn't exactly know what we were doing. Did decent underwriting, but we bought a bunch. And since then I bought about 5 single families, bought some short terms, doing some midterms right now. I really like it. But I bought it. I hadn't bought it really cool like some people do. Everything I bought, I put 15-20% down. Just got your conventional 25-year mortgage. It's a commercial mortgage, so it's usually balloons at 5 years. And that's what we've done. But I'm interested in kind of doing different ways now. I know there's a better ways to do that, better underwriting. But we've between me and my business partner, we've accumulated 28 properties. So we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing
Excited.
amazingly well, and
Thank you.
yeah, I've noticed a little bit of a theme. So with your electrical business, you sort of learn by doing, making mistakes, and you learn from it, and you have some successes, and you learn from that, and then now the same could be said for your real estate investing. I would imagine as well. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. So many things we've learned. I realize, hey, there's a lot of information out there. There's people out there that have already done this. We don't try to reinvent the wheel. Listen to a podcast. Now of course we got to plug it. We're an Action Academy, so there's so many people in there that I can call and ask a question about, and they're there to help. And man, that's the way to go. So definitely learning a lot more. And wish I'd have known this years ago. I'm not taking anything because sometimes you got to learn stuff the hard way to really learn a lesson. But yeah, there's definitely some things I wish I knew back then. I know now.
Yeah, right. Don't we all, right? And I want to take a second and give a shout out to Action Academy because I am also a member, right? That's where we met. And so many great resources, but also access to amazing mentors, right? And other, players in different sort of asset classes and strategies. So that's something that I learned this year where, like, hey, the old way for me of learning something is Googling it, right? Watching YouTube videos on it and spend hours and hours and hours. The faster, much better, more enjoyable way to learn stuff is phone a friend. Like, hey, I got a question about, midterm rentals. I call Lucas, right? That sort of thing. It goes so much faster and it is much more enjoyable. So, yeah, again, I highly recommend the Action Academy. I also wanted to take a moment and talk a bit about your electrical company. Please tell us the name and what market you're in, and also, if there's like a particular niche? Are you mostly focused on commercial or residential, or?
The name of our company is HK Electric. Right now, we're probably heavy industrial, but we also do large commercial. We do service work, residential service work, but we do commercial and industrial service also. The only thing we don't do is new construction residential, but everything else just about we do. We started our company. Just we were kids. We were 26, 20, 25, 26 years old, so we couldn't get a lot of big work. Even though our background was big work, nobody was going to give us a chance. So we just were doing what people would give us. We took everything, which was mostly residential service. And along the way, we've got rid of the houses as far as the new construction, but we were able to get really good in industrial and service work. So our specialty is taking care of plants. We go in there and do service work. We do a lot of repair work. There's a bunch of plants that we're their maintenance. I mean, they call us anytime they're down. We run out there and get them back going, and that's been a pretty good niche for us because a lot of people won't do that. But it's been good. It's been a great experience. It's been a hard experience, and like I said, mostly because forever, me and my business partner, it was only us. We did all the work. We did the bookkeeping. We cleaned the toilets, mowed the yard, and still worked on our tools. And now the last 4 or 5 years, it's really scaled because I've hired a lot of other people, learn to delegate, learn that people can do it a lot better than me, and they are doing it better than me, and they're growing my company for me, and that's a great thing because we got a great team. Everybody here is good people, and the man they're just awesome. Sometimes I just need to get out of their way because they're a bunch of rock stars.
That's awesome. I love it. Reminds me of the book Who Not How. Had you had a chance to read that?
Right.
Um,
I've read a little bit of it, and I wish I'd have read it 15 years ago.
right. Well, and
Definitely,
there's another book, 4 Hour Work Week. Tim Ferriss, he touches on, the bottleneck of every business is the business owner, right? And it
definitely,
typically
definitely.
comes in the form of business owners unwilling to let go, to delegate, right, and let go of responsibilities, trust other people to make their trust employees to make mistakes, right? And but I wanted to say something. So I've known you for, I guess, 4 or 5 months now. I can tell from our conversations that when you do a job, you make sure that you do it right. It's done right, and you do an excellent job, right? So to say that the folks, the rock stars on your team, do it even better than you, just guarantee that HK like does it right. So I love that. I wish that I could use y'all in West Texas, right? But that's I think 5-6
Hey, we
hours away.
try. Hey, we tell everybody, hey, we'll go as far as you'll pay us to go. So
Yeah, might as well, right? I love that.
that's right.
Awesome. So, yeah, okay, great. Let me kind of shift gears here a little bit and ask you, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, one of your more, difficult challenges that you've walked through in life, and maybe a lesson that you learned from that.
I think just starting a business. I mean, kind of like we touched on earlier, it just we did everything wrong. We worked so hard, and we were so focused on you know just working. I mean, everything could be and in my mind, everything could be solved by getting up early and working more hours. And I mean, I did. I still spend time with my family. I mean, I never missed a soccer game. I coached both my kids, and never missed a school function, and was there for my wife. But I mean, that means I might stay up all night, and not sleep, and because I went to something, so now I gotta go get a bid out that night, or get up at 3 in the morning instead of 6 or 7. So it was a struggle. We had a bunch of we lost customers that were I thought would be our ticket. We lost employees that thought our ticket, and we had a lot of setbacks, and that was a struggle. And I needed to go through that because that makes you stronger. But it's hard getting in a mindset. We had a mindset where like it didn't matter what happened, we were going to make this thing work, and we just willed it. But it was a struggle. But over the years, I've learned that that's part of life. If I would have worried, it worked. I mean, yeah, I'm sure this is a quote from a book. I know it is. Worked on my business, said in my business. I think we would be a lot better. I'd have had a lot easier go of it. It was such a big deal to hire our first office person. It was such a big deal to hire our first estimator. And those are all things that I knew I needed because I was trying to do it all, and I wouldn't do it just because I couldn't let go of the strings. I thought I could. I was the only one that could do it, and so now I know that that's not the way. You can only do so much, but a team can do so much more and do it better too.
Yeah, I love that, and yeah, that's great. You and I are similar in the sense where we look back on our past and wish we can do things differently. Now, so what's great is you and I both have kids, right? And so that's part of the reason for me doing this podcast is I hope my kids can go through this stuff, and maybe your kids will go listen to this podcast and they can learn from what you've learned and then implement it and then launch much sooner and have much more success earlier on, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can make those sacrifices really, really serve us, and I think part of that kind of starts with do you know Rob Torcell?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, so he's been coaching me, and we're talking about like the stories that we tell ourselves. So that story where I will sometimes beat myself up over doing things wrong in the past or making mistakes or whatever, I can just switch that story and then create it so then it can serve me, but also serve others, right? Then it's much more easier to kind of let that go in empowering. But yeah, I hear you, man. I think that's ultimately it takes a lot of courage to launch a business, and then a lot of willpower and a lot of hard work. And you've made it work. You've got it to a very successful point. And so, the truth is where you're at right now, it's just kudos to you, hats off to you. And, you deserve a lot of credit, man. And I know you gave yourself a lot of credit, but I think it's always good to hear that, when we can, right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
'Cause, I try to give all the credit to the Lord and
Yes.
the people around me because they're the ones that got me here. They're the ones that stood by me. My wife, I mean, she, I tell her a lot of times, if I didn't have to worry about what was going home, I could work 18 hours a day and leave in the middle of the night, go on a service call because I mean, she was taking care of the kids, she was taking care of the house. I had to worry about it, and I've had a great business partner too. He's been we work good together, been great friends, and so I mean, there's a lot of good things that's happened that got us here
Yeah, I love that. There's
this
an
way.
there's an old saying, "No man is an island," right? And same for
That's right.
me. My life literally was a mess before I really sort of began to build and strengthen my relationship with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, right? And so we're coming up on celebrating His birthday, so that's awesome. And another thing that has been key for me, so that's been life changing. My relationship with Jesus has been so incredibly life changing and such a huge blessing for me. I don't care who doesn't like me for it. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops, right? The other massive blessing that I've received in this life is my wife. So I think I had a conversation with a friend of mine who I interviewed on the podcast yesterday, Tyler, and we talked about one of the best ways young men and young women can set themselves up for success is by picking a great partner, right? So it's sort of by using our eyes, but also what's on paper. We got to be attracted to them, but they've got to be, solid folks, right? And if we will pick a great partner, it can really, really make us, in a huge way or break us in a huge way. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree with that. Like I said, I mean, I could go without sleep, and I mean, when I came home, there's food. I'm not worried where she's been. She's not worried where I've been. And we used to joke like I could, if I wanted a girlfriend, I could because I mean, I left in the middle of the night, came home the next day. She asked no questions, she just texted me, "I love you," thanks for what you do. And I text her back, appreciate you too. She'd tell me, hey, kids got need your help at 8 o'clock this morning, need your help at 3, and I'd be there, and we just were a good team, and that makes a huge difference. If I had to worry about all that stuff, I mean, there's no way. I mean, there's no way I could have concentrated on my business and worked the hours I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's huge.
Definitely.
Let me kind of ask you this fun question here. If you were to take everything that you know now and bring it all the way back with you in time, shoot back to age 18, is there anything that you would do differently to fast track your success, or just to fast track your success?
Well, I think I would still go in a trade because I think I've done great at trade. I think a trade business like I've went in is a very good thing. I didn't have to pay for college. I learned a trade that can never be taken away from me. I was able to build a business for it. I would have, of course, I guess the question was if I knew what I do now. I would have started hiring people right off the bat. Before I rethought your question, I was going to say, well, I'd have started listening to a lot of podcasts and listening to business stuff like that. But now I know most of that stuff. I still got a lot to learn, but. Back to 18, I mean, I started hiring people right off the bat. I would have talked to family and friends and got investors because they helped me along with finance and got a team built up faster. I mean, I'd have hired estimators and project managers right off the bat, and maybe a CEO, CFO instead of trying to build it from just me doing the work and building customers that way. And I think there's no telling where we'd be, which I'm very happy where I'm at. But I'm saying, there's no telling where we'd be if I knew what I knew now.
Yeah, man, I love that. It's huge. Build the dream team.
Yeah, and I'd have took a lot more days off. I would have went on a lot more cool experiences with my family and kids, and let them run it.
Yeah, build those memories, right? That's huge. Let me ask you this here. So, what are your thoughts on going from like a scarcity mindset or non-success mindset to an abundance mindset, or a success mindset?
It's tough. It's over the years I've been so like every day I feel something will happen that'll make it where I'm not sure if we're going to make it. Like we'll lose a big job, or not make money on a job, or lose a key employee, and that's just a setback. So I always had that, like you said, I'm scared, and now I'm actually starting to think like, hey, we got a bunch of great customers. We got a great employees. We got a great team. I got real estate. I got several, cash flow coming in from several different places. I mean, I'm set. So it's almost like, where is those goals? What do I do next? I've hit every goal I've ever wanted. And it's like, what do I need something to push me. So I've kind of switched it to like, and I've always been about this, but like, how can I help people? How can I help my team? How can I help my employees? How can I help, um, uh, people in this group? How if somebody's got questions on a business, how to start a business, how to run a business, how to buy some real estate. How can I help somebody? How can if somebody needs a handout, if just whatever. I mean, I'm trying to find things to volunteer, help people. I love talking about business, real estate. So I've had to kind of switch over to like instead of just grinding every day, turning that into other things.
Yeah, I love that. And it sounds like the other things that you're turning it over to are very enriching for you, right? You're helping other people, but it's enriching your soul at the same time, right?
Yeah, trying to.
Love that. So
Yeah.
this question is kind of a follow up on the last question, and that is, if there was a key that unlocked success in your life, if you could boil it down to one thing, what would you say that is?
Well, I think hard work. I mean, there's definitely a better way to work, a smarter way to work than I did, but I still think you have to have hard work. I mean, um, even if you get to a situation like Tim Ferriss 4 hour work week, he still worked hard. He still put in some hours, even though he figured out how to get other people to do everything for him. And I've got a great team now. I got project managers and office manager and property manager for my properties. I still have to take the action and put in the work to get there and to do it. Now, do I have to work 16, 18 hour days no more? No, I don't. But I think you needed to do a little bit of that at first and know. and I should have got out of it a lot sooner. But I think hard work is what everybody needs. I mean, people look at the big dogs, the Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and stuff like that, and yeah, some of them are known for work, some of them aren't, but whatever they're doing now, at one time in their life, they put in some hours, they worked hard. And I think everything starts with some hard work. Just the smarter people that aren't me figured out a lot quicker how to delegate and get out of that. And that's what I tell my kids. Like, hey, I'm not saying you don't need to work hard. You have to work hard. Get in a business, get in get into something and learn some skills. Work hard. Have some major fails that you learn from, and but have the mindset of I'm doing this to get me somewhere, and I don't have to work every hour. I don't have to work by the hour for the rest of my life or for somebody the rest of my life. My dad was great, taught me my work ethic, and he did really good. But he had to work till he's 60 to retire, and that's how my mindset was. And it took me a long time to get out of that. So that's what I'm telling my kids. I'm not saying you don't have to work. You do have to work, but you don't want to have to work till you're 60. You want to have that choice. You want to you want to learn some skills, work hard, learn some skills, invest right, and then you have choices the rest of your life to do whatever you want to do. If you want to work hard, you can. If you don't want to work hard, you can.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like working harder and working smarter. You said something earlier. At first when you started out, you wanted to prove yourself, and you know, I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman, but that seems like a very strong with young men. We want to work hard. It doesn't matter. We're not even thinking. We just go dig ditches, and we just want to make sure we're working harder than our buddy over here who's working, so that we can prove we can work harder than. And it's like you can get into a rut with that where this is where all your pride and identity is, and you can sleep really well and feel great about yourself, and but then be working for much longer for somebody else than we need to, maybe not make as much money as we would like to. So what we should be doing is at an early age is this is my philosophy, is trying to figure out how to create the most amount of money with the least amount of effort. And that's a huge challenge, and you can go a million ways with it, right? But I would agree, wholeheartedly, hard work is, incredibly important. And if you're starting a business, I also believe that you want to learn all of the aspects of the business before you delegate anything. Otherwise, you can have like a potential, like building a house of cards, right?
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing to teach it. I do agree with that. And sometimes you got to see those failures. I seen it last night. We had a Christmas party last night, and one of my friends just did an event center. He bought an event center. He remodeled it. We did electric work on it, so we rented our Christmas party for him at their place last night, and we were actually the first paid event they had, which was kind of cool. And they were all there just making sure it was all right. And I said, "Are you going to always be here? Or are you going to hire some people?" He said, "Oh no, we're going to hire some people." He said, "I just wanted to make sure that I want to see the problems." And I was like, "Man, that's awesome that you're thinking like that."
Yeah, we just closed on this motel like 3 weeks ago, and I think they're seeing it from the operator side. We can identify the problems with when we're hands on, and then on the customer side, that's huge also. So I think for us, I think one thing that will help us there is just asking for, hey, feedback. What did you notice? What can we do better? You know what I mean? And so I'd imagine your friend's event center is like beautiful and brand new and all that, but you still can. You never know. Some feedback is like, "Hey, way out in left field," and then some is like, "Oh, I never even thought of that." And free ideas, right? It's like, might as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Yeah, we found out last night there was issues with the trash and just several different things. Where the caterers had needed a different spot to set up. So there was a lot of several things they found out last night they need to change. So it's a good dry run.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
definitely.
great. Uh,
Congratulations on that hotel.
oh yeah, thank you.
That
Yeah,
was cool.
it's been a
That was
lot of
awesome.
fun, and we're just working on optimizing it and optimizing the automation of it and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's, you can't really see, a brand new automobile. You can't see the issues with it till you fire it up, right? So, gotta run some business through that engine.
That's right.
Let me ask you this: as we are getting close to wrapping this up, do you have a book or two that had a huge impact on your life? Any book recommendations? Could be three or four.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go back with I mean, what everybody says, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean, that was a big turning point. I know everybody says that, but that's a good book, man. It says a lot of good things. And then also Dave Ramsey. I mean, everybody hates on Dave Ramsey, but so many people need Dave Ramsey. I needed Dave Ramsey, especially in my early days of building a business. I mean, he teaches so many fundamental. I mean, stay out of debt, pay your bills, live within your means. We ran our business like that, and yeah, we probably could have got a little more debt. And when we started getting some line of credits and setting up that kind of stuff, we did start scaling more. But I mean, he just got the major fundamentals down, and so many people need that early on, and everything he says is foolproof versus some of the stuff we do. You buy a house. Yes, a house is gonna be more better a better profit than some stocks, but a good mutual fund. But that house, the air conditioning go out. I mean, there's a lot of for a new investor. There's so many things that can make you fail and bankrupt you or hurt you. So the what he preaches is sound, especially for a newbie. So it was a great thing in my life, and so I definitely got to get Dave Ramsey. But then, I took what he says, and then took what Rich Dad Poor Dad said, and kind of mixed them together, and I think you've got a pretty good system.
Yeah, I love that so much. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad many years before I started getting to Dave Ramsey, and then now I'm a mixture of both. I feel like how there's the old sort of metaphor of an angel on one side and a devil on the other side. You could also have Dave Ramsey on one side and Robert Kiyosaki, and then they kind of like, hey, no personal debt, no personal debt, and
Yeah,
then Robert Kiyosaki's like, yeah, no, I agree with that. You know what I mean? But like, so but a good combination of both. But when you're
yeah,
going on to take on risk like an asset, like the way that Robert Kiyosaki would define it would be like a single family residence, for example, that somebody else is paying for. You could have debt on it, but somebody else is paying for it. That's great, but we need to learn how to underwrite these properties, how to analyze them, so that we can avoid as much risk as possible, right?
exactly. And from a business standpoint, like over the years, I love talking to business, and contracting is one of the hardest things. And the reason is because you pick any trade, sheetrock, a mechanic, or whatever, and the best mechanic and the best sheetrocker and the best electrician can not be the best business owner because, like me, we know no business skills. And what you get is, let's say I'm a contractor and I'm a great contractor, but I come to do a job for you, and you're going to pay me a check 10 grand or whatever. If that job's 10 grand job, that might be the biggest check I've ever seen. I've been there, and like 5% of that is actually mine. The rest is owed to taxes, employees, material, all that. And so many contractors, because they don't have the Dave Ramsey, the financial literacy, they just get that big check and, oh my gosh, I got 10 grand. I've never seen 10 grand before. And all of a sudden, things start coming at them, and they're like, I can buy this, I can buy these more new tools, or hey, I'm gonna go on a vacation, but I got this other job coming up. Well, that other job doesn't pay, and before you know it, I mean, you don't get that next job, and you're in the hole, and that's why so many contractors go out of business. And that was something that I like to talk to people about. And I've seen so many contractors just talk to me about how do you manage cash flow, and they're doing things like they're getting paid. They're taking if they make 40% on a job, they're taking the whole 40%. I'm like, dude, you got to set a salary. You see a year of cash flow, and you got some money at the end of the year. You're paying all your bills. That's when you take a bonus. But you got to leave so much. Me and Josh always left. We would take like 10%, and we'd leave like the rest in the company for bad days, for investing, buying tools. I mean, you name it. And also another thing is that's bad with contracting is most time the jobs we're doing, they're 60, 90 days out. So we're doing a job, $100,000, $500,000 job. We might not get paid for a year and a half. So we got to take care of all that. and that kills contractors. So our accountant told us years ago, cash is king. It is. So I like talking about that to people, and explaining to people, there's little things you can do right off the bat just by putting yourself on a salary. Make sure you're investing back in your company. Saving for a rainy day. And once you're seeing a year of good jobs, good cash flow, good profits, that's when you start taking some money. But you don't take it all. You just take a little bit, and you keep enough in there for investing in your company. That's what's made us good.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. You take too much and yeah, it could just be the end of it, right? So, better to be way siding on the, erring on the side of, caution, than the other side, right? So, wow. Let me ask you this. Is there, just maybe two more questions here and then we'll wrap it up. So with that being said, is there a particular type of deal, residential on the beach or, quadplexes in a particular market, anything like that our audience can sort of, send your way if they were, so inclined?
And I'm looking for some cash flow right now. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place. I own single family, I own short term, midterm, commercial, and my business, of course. And so I'm kind of looking for some stuff that's out of what I do and can bring me some bigger returns. I don't know if it's multifamily. I don't know if that's storage. I don't know. I'm just so cash flow, some bigger stuff than I know how to get into. I'd definitely be interested in talking to you.
That's great. Awesome. In last question, how can our audience connect with you?
Well, I'm not good at social media, so probably just my email. You can email me. It's kelectric8980@gmail.com. And like I said earlier, man, I want to help. I still got a lot to learn, and but I've bought some real estate. I've started my electrical business, ran it, and so I got a lot to help people with too. And I love talking to people about business, about real estate. It definitely excites me. So if I can help anybody in any way, look at a deal. We as far as my business, I mean, I can be an open book. You ask questions, human resources, bookkeeping, project management, electrical questions. I mean, I'll help you where I can.
I love that so much, Lucas. And yeah, you may have a lot to learn, but we have so much to learn from you, right? So I really appreciate you throwing that out there. And that is the truth, man. And I do really appreciate your time. And I'm looking forward to, just chatting with you more down the road. So thanks again for joining us on another episode of The Gentle Art of Crushing It. With that being said, we'll go ahead and sign off. So thank you all for listening and watching. Hope you have a magnificent rest of your day.
Are you ready to take your podcast to the next level? Introducing Chris Clark Media, your go-to solution for professional podcast editing and production services. At Chris Clark Media, we understand the power of a well-produced podcast. Whether you're a seasoned podcaster or just starting out, our team of experienced editors is here to make your content shine. Why choose Chris Clark Media? We offer a range of services tailored to meet your unique needs. From seamless audio and video editing to captivating intro music and engaging sound effects, we've got you covered. Our skilled editors work diligently to enhance your podcast quality, ensuring crystal clear audio and a professional finish. No more worrying about background noise or inconsistent levels. We've got it handled. But that's not all. We also offer custom podcast branding services, creating eye-catching cover art and compelling promotional materials to help you stand out in the crowded podcasting space. Are you ready to elevate your podcasting game? Visit chrisclarkmedia.com today and explore our affordable packages. Let us handle the technicalities so you can focus on what you do best, creating amazing content. Chris Clark Media, your success, our expertise. Start your podcasting journey with us today.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of The Gentle Art of Crushing It. It was an amazing episode. We know we sure learned a lot, and we hope you did as well. We want to take a second and thank you so much for viewing or listening to this episode. And please just know that we only ask for one favor, and that is to make this life magnificent. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.